In our top story tonight, while Mother Nature is really showing off her stuff, of course, here locally, we're still recovering from the effects of Hurricane Irene. But just a few hours ago, a major earthquake hit the eastern portion of the U.S. The earthquake, which hit at about 1:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, measured a preliminary 5.9 on the Richter scale and lasted up to 45 seconds, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. It shook office buildings and homes and rattled residents, and now the U.S. Geological Survey warns of aftershocks. The epicenter was reported about 4 miles southwest of Mineral, Virginia, near Richmond, Virginia, and about 80 miles south of Washington, D.C. Witnesses reported a low rumble which grew into a distinct and sustaining shocking, rattling windows and fraying nerves. No injuries were reported, and a nuclear power plant near Lake Anna, Virginia was shut down in a precautionary measure. Twitter, as you can imagine, lit up with personal earthquake reports up and down the eastern coast. And for the latest on the D.C. quake, stay with our parent station after the local news tonight on World News with Diane Sawyer. And in other news, here in the VI, we're still feeling the effects of Hurricane Irene. News Channel 8's Wes Small gets us started at Vitima.
Thank you very much, Jerome. I am here with the top echelons of what we're dealing with this disaster, Irene, of course, here with General Elton Lewis. He is the executive director of Vitima for our territory, and Mr. Philip Parr. I got that right.
Yes, you did.
Philip Parr, he is our liaison. He is, for the existing territory, he is the coordinating officer. So he's the go-to man for the federal agency, and this is the go-to man for the local agency. Of course, Vitima in charge of all the emergency entities. We're going to get right to it. General, we went through a curfew and everything, and thank God, I don't believe we have any casualties, fatalities. And I know you've been in touch with the emergency ward, the fire department, WAPA, and Chief Howe with VIPD. What is your situation? How do you feel about how we've withstood another one of God's acts?
Well, first of all, Wes, let me say that let me give praise to the Lord for bringing us through once again another storm for this season. Yes. We still have many, many more to go. As you know, the Atlantic season ends on November 30th. I'm once again asking the general community to continue to prepare themselves, prepare the family, and not to take anything for granted. We have passed through Emily, now we just passed through Irene, and we have no idea what's behind of us, so we're asking them to continue to prepare. During the storm, it was recommended to the governor of the Virgin Islands that we imposed a curfew, which he granted. And I think that the police department did a wonderful job in terms of enforcing the curfew. We had no reported incident, to the best of my knowledge. We had no loss of life and no extended property damage here in the territory. So I think all of that is a very good thing. And again, I continue to ask the people of this territory to continue to prepare themselves.
All right, thank you very much. General Elton Lewis, he's in between meetings all day long, so I'm not going to keep him. And now, Mr. Philip Parr, you're the go-to guy for the federal agency. And like you said, there's no need to rehash that because it looks like we fared pretty good. But now, the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, and as it makes its way to the mainland, we understand that in about 30 minutes or so, y'all are going to be involved with President Obama, and perhaps some declaration could be made on that storm as it makes its way up, or am I jumping ahead?
Well, a little ahead. Puerto Rico did receive an emergency declaration. I believe it was last night. They were more seriously impacted by Irene than the Virgin Islands was. So they're working through that right now. And yes, the CONUS, Continental United States, is getting ready. They're preparing for what might be a possible landfall somewhere along the Atlantic coast. We do have a video teleconference with FEMA headquarters. The director and I will be on that teleconference. But whether or not the president's going to be on, I don't know. Sure. But yeah, I want to echo his words about preparation. Virgin Islands is kind of right in the bullseye as these storms come across the Atlantic. So we want to keep encouraging people. This is not a matter of the crying wolf. This is a matter of, this is real stuff. Getting ready. Virgin Islands is extremely vulnerable, and we encourage you all to prepare and keep an eye out on the weather.
At Vitima headquarters, two very busy gentlemen. Thank you very much, sirs. Thank you. Right back to your meetings. I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
And we want to thank Vitima and FEMA for their words tonight. And many people in our territory are still without power. News Channel 8's Wes Small is at WAPA.
Here she is. I would like to say we've been playing phone tag with each other, but phones have been out. So we literally been playing tag, but I'm really happy to see Cassandra Dunn. And I know that a lot of folks out there don't have power, little pockets, and Cassandra's going to break it down. I want to make sure that we know what time we're at. It's almost 4:30 now in the afternoon, so in a way I'm kind of happy that it's the latest we possibly can have it by 7 o'clock tonight. So, Cassandra, finally caught up with you.
Yes, you did.
I heard you on the radio saying you didn't have power and things like
Still
that.
don't, but
Wow.
I'm hoping to have it soon.
Well, let's find out what's going on, who has it and who doesn't. And thank you. We finally caught up with each other.
Great. Well, we have made a lot of progress despite some of us who don't have power. They are working on it, and I'm very hopeful that, according to the line superintendent on St. Croix, by tomorrow night, early the next morning, Thursday morning, we should be majority completed. We've had a lot of challenges. I know people didn't think the weather was as bad as it actually was, but for us, wind and rain are a very bad combination for keeping power lines up and fuses in. So we are about 82% complete on St. Croix. On St. Thomas, St. John, Water Island, on St. Thomas will be pretty much complete tonight, and St. John will also be pretty much complete tonight. So we're optimistic that the majority of the territory will be back in service within the next couple of days.
All right, Cassandra, thank you. I'm so glad to see you.
Well, good to see you, Wes.
Yes.
And I just want to remind the viewers that our call centers are still open, so that would be not 713 WAPA on St. Croix and 777 WAPA on St. Thomas, St. John, Water Island.
Okay.
And you can also contact us on our website at www.biwapa.bi. Send us an email, tell us your situation, and we will make sure that the line department gets it as soon as possible.
She never sleeps. Cassandra Dunn.
Got work to do.
That's right, spokesperson at WAPA. Thank you very much, sweetheart. Public Information Officer at the Richmond plant. I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
And we want to thank Cassandra Dunn for her interview tonight. And now an update on inter-island travel. News Channel 8's Wes Small is at Seabourn Airlines.
All right, thank you very much, Jerome. We're going to get right to it. The CEO of Seabourn is Omar Orselchek. I always butcher his last name, but we've had some interference of flights, especially out of Puerto Rico, I believe. But all in all, how did you and your staff and your equipment fare throughout this storm?
Well, Wes, first of all, thanks for the opportunity to speak to the public, and we're really grateful to all of our customers. We do not take our customers for granted. We work very hard to service them safely every day. We had about 40 flights that were canceled, and we had a lot of guests that were stranded in St. Thomas and San Juan mainly. And while we added flights back into the schedule to be able to operate them, what we didn't take into account were a number of things. The instrument landing systems in both St. Croix, St. Thomas, and San Juan were out of service thanks to Irene. And so we weren't legally able to operate into St. Thomas for a big chunk of yesterday, as well as the seaplane service for yesterday until those conditions improved. But once they did, we played catch up. And it's been a tough slog at it. We were ready to go yesterday morning, but understandably a lot of systems get knocked out of service, including cell phone service. We got flights set up, but we couldn't call the people to let them know they had a flight.
So you're saying about interruption with your devices and electrical things and so forth?
Absolutely. As with any storm, a number of systems that we count on for safe and reliable service were knocked out, including the instrument landing systems for both St. Thomas, St. Croix, and San Juan. And so because the weather in St. Thomas yesterday and San Juan was IFR, or instrument flight conditions, for a lot of the time, we weren't able to operate. We did, however, launch a lot of flights to catch up, but we couldn't contact people because cell phone service is out of, and to get back in touch with them. Having said that, I want to take an opportunity to thank all of our guests. We don't take their business for granted. We know that's not been easy, and we apologize for the inconvenience. I want to thank my team at Seabourn for all the hard work they put in. It doesn't seem like it sometimes, but they're working really, really hard. 150 people working extra hard behind the scenes to get the flights out that we are able to get out.
At the seaplane, I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
And we want to thank Omar Ursulchek for that interview tonight. When we come back from this break, your telephone service is up next. Stay with us.